Hey, what up? Oh man. Alright. I want to watch a video. I'm going to try not to talk about it too much. Because I just want to watch stuff. I want to bend back and just watch this video and give my back a rest. Because my back is saying, dude, I need a backiotomy. And my backiotomy needs a backiotomy. So I'm just gonna be like, righty, that feels good. And I need a massage. I've never had a massage, and seriously, I need a massage. Like a massage from a masseuse, you know? Yeah, get me one of them. Like not like I go to a massage parlor to get jerked off and sucked off, but like I go to a massage parlor to get a massage. So let's do this. It's called The Dumbest Man to Ever Fool Joe Rogan, by the way. Uh, who is it? Clarence something? Whatever. Anyways, fun, and son. Oh man, they just show in the video, they just showed something called the University of Science and Philosophy. Like the promo video for it, and it's just, oh man. I didn't see like the full actual promo video. I saw them like him reacting to someone like covering the promo video, and so I didn't like see the actual promo video, but like, oh, it's hilarious. It's not even really hilarious. It's a mixture of hilarity and sadness, and it seems like it might be a university quote that might be like, all right, give us money and you'll get a degree, and maybe you can like you apply for a job and be like, yes, I got a bachelor's degree from the University of Science and Philosophy. I would like a job, please, sir. A like in today's economy, but like 10 years ago or something like that, like maybe somebody could have, maybe you could have passed that off and been like, got an entry level job somewhere in exchange for like $15,000 and just like, I see you graduated in blah blah blah. Like, yes, with honors too. Excellent, great. Well, we have an opening in blah blah blah. I'd be like, yes, yes, I sure do. Mm-hmm. Like, well, fucking hey, sounds like a good idea. Start a university. Fuck all this. Screw all this other garbage. Just, I mean, why bother? Why bother spending 4 years at an actual college when you could just be like, here's 20,000. You got to stay for a year, or you don't even have to stay for a year. Here's your degree. Just here's your degree. Go try and get a job. You know? Go whip up your degree and be like, You graduated. I mean, it's just like, why not? And you can just keep going through, churning through interviews until you get a job, and it's like into some job that you don't really need to worry about fucking what they do, and just be like, so what do we do here? Oh, blah 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 blah. It's like, hey, how much do you pay? Oh, the starting salary is $45,000 a year. Like, well, it's not what I was hoping for, but you know, with the economy, what it is, I guess you just gotta take what you can take and go out and be like, yes. That's double what I paid to get the degree. Whereas a minimum wage job in most of the states is like something like 15,000 a year, like half the country. So it's just like whatever, bullshit your way in it. That's the real American career path. It's just bullshitting your way into a job that you don't know how to fucking do, and just kind of BSing your way through the first month maybe, and if you get fired, you get fired. If you figure it out, you figure it out. Maybe you end up being decent at it and get a promotion. End up with a good story to tell. Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Seriously. No. The video is so great. You just talked about how dude just blew his career over. He just smoked his career by by screwing up his whole Iron Man thing. You know you know you never really know what happens behind the scenes in Hollywood. You know, it's just interesting to know what it's like, why why the actor changes and stuff, and it's just like apparently the guy was kind of a dick, but also he kind of sucked at doing the role too. So it was like not only did he suck as an actor, but he was just kind of a dick. So it's like after doing that, like he kind of didn't really get a whole lot of work in Hollywood, and so apparently that made him crazy, or made his craziness. And because of all that, he screwed himself out of $50 million. And the next black guy to fill in the role, got $50 million. So, oopsie. So that was great. I mean, that was totally for the giggles. Just another. I mean, how do these? Who are these every so often crazy people that are so crazy? That are just so crazy. And he talked about it, Young Don. He was like, I talking to my dad. Like, how is it that sometimes these dumb people get, I'm paraphrasing. I'm probably bastardizing these words. These dumb people get so much attention and fame and money when, you know, other people maybe are not dumb. They're smart. Well, what he actually was, he was like, he was talking about his dad. And his dad was saying, well, he was saying his dad, this is what he was talking about. He was saying his dad doesn't believe in, doesn't use like vitamins and supplements and stuff like that because his dad was always like, well, does it make me smarter? And he was like, yeah, but there's a limit to that because being smart helps. Being smarter helps up until a certain point. I can I can attest to that. I think I'm a. I hope I'm not. I'm always worried when I say like I'm smart and stuff. All right, here's why. Here's what it is when I'm talking about stuff like that. As I was smart as a kid. Because I don't know what kind of tests they run in public schools nowadays, but they gave, I think they call them the Iowa tests in schools. I think they were just basically reading and math tests, reading and math, because we didn't really have science class um, in like first, second, and third grade. I think I had my first seizure when I was in summer between third and fourth. So I was always getting like pretty much the highest, almost the highest scores you could get on those tests when we took them. And on top of that, our school didn't have air conditioning because it was those days when some schools didn't have air conditioning. So some of the times I just, I don't think I was alone in this. Some of the times I just would just fill out the last, I don't know, 10 to 20% of parts of the, just be like, whatever. Just give it away, just be like, whatever. So even though you score really high, you may have scored better. Like I said, I don't think I was alone there because it got so hot in there. You can't take it. So I just don't know. I don't know how much the epilepsy has affected this. The IQ or whatever the fuck I don't really believe in IQs. There's been so much conflicting data on IQ that it's extremely subjective and everything. So this whole, Trump says low IQ. Calling someone low IQ is a low IQ statement. I kind of forgot, but I lost my train of thought. But what was I going to comment? There's this huge disclaimer garbage that I had to get through. Oh, That's what I was talking about. But for me personally, being what I think possibly, maybe, could be a fairly smart person, I don't know. Given that working assumption, we're just working on under that hypothetical assumption here. I can say that I'm kind of like a worrier, and what I mean by that is like I it's like my mind's always like thinking about like, well, I could do this, but if I do this, then I won't do that. It's like I could go down this path, but then that would close off these three other paths. And by three, I mean 500. And by 500, I mean 5,000. So, and all these other things. And that's just one kind of thing that runs through my mind a lot of times. And when I went to school, college, when I went to college the first time, I went to double major, and it wasn't that it was particularly difficult doing, like the classes weren't particularly difficult. Is that I really have a problem with the self-disciplining after being in the classroom. And yeah, I don't like in the classroom I'm fine. The reason I was able to graduate from high school is because I do really well paying attention to lectures for the most part. I just hate the idea of doing homework. It I can't even stress how much I hate the idea of doing homework. Um, I don't have any problem giving my time to going to class and doing that. But once I get out of there, that's my time. Like I feel like that's my time. Like if you want me to like do that, like schedule me to be there from like let me when I leave like I want like me being in my home is like like I don't know. I feel like that's a betrayal of like it's a betrayal of the social contract for me. Like, and I don't know. I feel that's a wrong way for me to educate myself, and a lot of times, and just doing that is like when I get home, like so that was just the wrong way. I don't know. I didn't have enough kind of self awareness to understand that that was not the best way for me to go about that. And I kind of just, I don't know, structured educational environments are just not what works for me. I like the idea of, university and, you know, trying to learn math and science and stuff, but for me personally, it doesn't work because it really does require a lot of singular personal investment, and that's something that I'm not particularly great at, unless we're talking about like video games or something like that. That I'm perfectly fine at. Or listening to lectures. I can listen to someone who's educated talk for hours. Or I can listen to stand-up comedians talk. I can do that all day, but stare at a book and like write things out. It's very tedious. It feels too much like working at a job. That is just horrible. So I don't know how I got there. I never know how I get where the tangents go. I have to backtrack in order to figure out what the fuck I was thinking about. So what was that guy talking about? He was talking to his dad about whatever. I don't know. I still got half a sink, so I gotta fucking wander on wherever the hell I want to talk. But okay, yeah. Well, I covered what I was gonna. Nah, that's right. I kind of covered what I was saying. The whole like, I worry. I worry basically about am I uh, if I go and do this thing, am I am I closing the doors behind me that and thus is that are those doors in doing that am I making the wrong decision? And that fear of missing out thing is always bad. So the, keeping keeping all the possibilities open and yet never pursuing any of them is kind of bad, I guess. But I kind of sort of pursue them, but not to the same degree that a lot of people do pursue them, sort of. And then on top of all that, I have epilepsy, so I have all the constraints on me that imposes by America. Now, if you don't think that's a thing, then you must be a healthy person. That's all I have to say about that. You must be a healthy person. Talk to if you know someone that's disabled, that has a chronic condition and is disabled, and something. Talk to them. You might start to get an idea of what I'm talking about when I say that. And they live in America. It makes any it makes kind of almost the slightest thing you want to do a much bigger question mark. Like, I want to move. Like, I want to move. Okay. If I were a normal person, that would be tricky and risky and all of that. But on top of the normal tricky and risky and all that, where am I going to get my epilepsy medication from? Who's going to prescribe it? When I get there, if I move to California, because America doesn't have a universal healthcare system, I'm going to be waiting months before I can get prescription and stuff. Get on California Medicaid. I have disability from the federal government, but how much is that going to cost? If I have a place set up there, it's California, so hopefully I got a place set up that's fucking cheap. I'll probably be with a roommate, so I'm 43 and I'm gonna be living with a fucking roommate, at least one, again. And how is all that gonna work? Because, and then after a couple months, once I finally get on the Medicaid from California, whatever that is, whatever they call that, Medi-Cal, probably something like that. I think I heard that be called Medi-Cal. Then also apply for SNAP in California, which is that SNAP? I don't know. Because here it's called Texas Star, I think. So, whatever. Will I be able to apply for it? Because they were trimming SNAP benefits. So, California is pretty liberal. So, if, maybe California is going to self-fund it. Maybe, I have no idea. What's going to happen? And thankfully, I don't have a lot of stuff, but I have enough stuff that I can't put it in a backpack or in a bag on a stick and hitchhike it to where I'm going to go. So, how the fuck am I going to get it there? I mean, a little pickup truck would probably be able to get my crap there. But, that's not unique to me personally. That's pretty much normal moving stuff. But but then there's the other big consideration. I need a doctor, and I'm going to have to find a doctor. Now, it took a while to find a doctor. And since I need to find a doctor, first I need to find a primary care doctor. Let's say 2 months if I'm lucky. Then I need to fucking rummage around to find a neurologist. Yeah, let's say 6 months for that if I'm lucky. So maybe by the end of the first lease, I'll have a doctor. And then I'll move again. Quite possibly. Outside of the range of both my primary care doctor and the neurologist I just Is anyone out there has anyone stayed around this long into the video to see how totally fucked the American healthcare system is and how it is? This has to be a design. This has to be either explicitly or implicitly designed to screw people like me over. So, um, I don't know if it's intentionally designed for this so much as it is just, let's maximize efficiency. Maximize efficiency. That is the most bullshit way of I'm just saying, let's five guys who own the entire, I mean, they own everything. They own, which is just absurd to begin with. They have private ownership of healthcare, food. I mean, and not really farms is not really what I'm bitching about. Not private ownership of farms and land and stuff, but private ownership of like the systems of food, the every meat packing plant, not like private ownership of one or three meat packing plants in the country, or one meat distribution or one beef distribution center in the country, but two meat conglomerates that own the meat packers, the distribution warehouses, trucking companies that ship them, own stakes in all the major shopping retailers, stakes in farming equipment, stakes in pharma companies that sell, you know, vaccines or whatever to the ranchers and whatever. These guys that that literally had their grubby hands in everything, and those guys had their grubby hands in everything. Everybody that has no interest in anything good for any of us has their grubby hands in it. And meanwhile, what do? They're all buying beef and stuff from Europe because they know American beef is crap. So they're like, I'm not eating American beef because it's unhealthy. We made it that way because we made it cheaper and shittier. So I'm buying shit from overseas because it's healthier. I'm buying fish from Japan because it's healthier because they regulate it healthier. We deregulate it, so it's cheaper. We don't lower the price on you because why lower the price? We just made everything cheaper, raised the price a little because why not? And I get more money. That's the game they always play. And, it's the little game I like to call the fuck you game. So I'm done with my cig. I can stop talking. And I would like to call this video the fuck you game, but you can't swear in titles. So, tax rich, kneecap the rich, tax wealth, not work, boobs.